on this. I'm joined now by Kanishk Gaur, cybersecurity expert, Kazim Rizvi, founding director of The Dialogue, and Jaspreet Bindra, founder of Tech Whisperer. Welcome to all of you, and thank you so much for speaking with us today on Beyond the Headline. Jaspreet Bindra, let me come to you on the concerns around artificial intelligence and what India must do, specifically on what the minister is saying, where he says that we don't need to get hysterical about job losses. We are quite far away from it because AI is still not, it doesn't still have the ability to replace critical thinking. Do you think we're closer to that stage of AI that we now understand?
Thank you very much. Great to be here. The minister is absolutely right. I don't think we need to be hysterical about job loss, especially in India. In fact, if you look at not only the WEF report, a Goldman Sachs report, which came around the same time, while they all talk of job losses, they also talk of job creation. And in the job losses spectrum, actually the impact on India is the least. In fact, there are more job losses in the developed countries, less job losses in the emerging markets, just because of the way our economy is structured and what kind of jobs, currently AI could impact or replace. I also do believe, if you look historically at every technology that has come in, the net jobs created, which we don't know at this point of time, because it's all in the future, but net jobs created by every technology are more than the net jobs lost. So I think we need to look at this positively, especially in India, where we will have more time than some of the developed economies to adjust to this impact of this new technology.
Okay. Kanishk Gaur, you are one of those voices who have concerns about artificial intelligence, and this is something voiced by some of the top tech minds of the world as well. Do you think India needs to be better prepared and more specific about what this potential threat could be?
Tamanna, we need to be better prepared because we run one of the largest IT outsourcing and offshoring industry. We have people who are supporting technology functions which will get automated through artificial intelligence. So we need to be critical about specific skills which will get outdated because of the AI function coming into the picture. Let's just look at travel agents. Now, there are a lot of people who are running travel agents or travel shops. Today, there are plugins on ChatGPT which allow you to search better options. So there is AI which is there to replace some of those. We have tremendous amount of content creators across various functions, be it media houses, be it print. If you start using AI tomorrow, those people will lose jobs. So we need to do more of a skill-based analysis that if AI comes into the picture, these are the sectors, these are the skills which are at threat. And we need to have a resilient plan on how we are going to counter that. I don't think so we are getting into specifics. Sometime back, we had job losses because of COVID, which impacted the hotel industry. But nobody spoke when so many people lost jobs. There were other sectors which created jobs, that could be pharma. But the impact is far real because of AI.
But Kanishk Gaur, people will argue that whenever there is new technology, some jobs go and other ones are created. I mean, there's no way to stop the advent of technology.
There is no way, but you need to be better prepared. How do you upskill people? You need to have a plan to upskill people. You've got bodies like NASSCOM which are sitting there. You've got Data Security Council of India. India needs to have a plan to reskill people so that the impact is minimal. We've got a $200 billion plus IT outsourcing industry which supports so many countries. If IBM is doing it today and tomorrow Google, Amazon, Apple do that, there are going to be job losses. How are you going to counter that? What's India's action plan? How are they going to mitigate that those people don't lose jobs? Where is the minister's plan for mitigation? Have you identified the skills which are going to get impacted? The sectors which are going to get impacted? I don't think so. Making those statements saying that, okay, we are not going to get impacted, you're just shooting in the air. We need to go level deep and go granular and say, okay, this is my mitigation plan if something like this happens. What is your plan to stop a large big tech company from firing people? There are lakhs of people who work for these big tech companies. There are tremendous amount of creators. who are there. When TikTok, the government banned TikTok, there were 2,000 plus people who lost jobs. Did we have a plan B for those people who lost jobs? You say, okay, they would find a job somewhere else. I think we need to be more responsible when we make such
I don't know if it's the government's job to, secure everyone from redundancy due to changing technology. Kazim Rizvi, do weigh in on this, and we'll talk about the other threats of AI because frankly it goes beyond jobs. Right now jobs is what we see, but let's talk about this for a bit. Is there a real threat to jobs, and is this something the government should step in on?
Look, I think we need to look beyond the binary of whether it's a threat or a positive advantage. I think this is a technology which is evolving. We don't understand much at this time, so we have to learn and understand this better. Historically, we've seen that with every significant technological advancement, there has been job displacement, but there have been a lot more jobs which have been added. For example, internet. Now, when internet came in the early 90s, late 80s, there were a lot of job displacement at that time as well. But over a period of 20-30 years, we saw that 2.61 jobs were created for every job loss which took place on the due to the advent of internet. The same thing happened with computers. When computers came in, there was a job loss. The typists lost their jobs, but it created a whole set of opportunities. What it has also done is created or sort of really drove industrial growth. And we understand today through research that internet is going to be the key driver of industrial growth in the next 10-20 years. And India's internet economy is projected to grow at $1 trillion by 2030 as per research. Now, having said that, there will be job displacement and there will be blue-collar jobs which will get affected. I think we definitely need to study this a lot more. We need to do sectoral understanding in terms of what kind of skill set are being replaced and what are the new skill set which are being added. I think the AI advent is inevitable, but in terms of preparation, and I think this has been said before, how are we going to upskill our own people? For example, if you see the legal industry, the lawyers, and they're using generative AI for a lot of support systems. Now, will that lead to some job displacement in that sector? But it may also increase their efficiency and productivity. So I think we have to understand this from both perspectives. You look at healthcare, for example, robotics have helped doctors do their job better. It has improved their efficiency, but it has also led to some sort of job displacement at the same time in those sectors. So I think we have to really look at this sectorally. We have to definitely upskill the people, but I do think this is an inevitable. For example, in the early 2010s, when e-commerce came to India, you saw tremendous amount of job growth happening. Even the non-internet jobs were created. And I think we have to be sort of ready in terms of understanding what kind of new jobs will come up. How can we help people use AI better? Because with the advent of generative AI, we are looking at a direct interaction of the technology with users. This is like a B2C interaction happening.
Yeah, so
earlier,
clearly it cuts out a lot of people. It will cut off. It will cut off a lot of people. Customer care. Why would you need them? Why would you need someone on the other end of the line? Just for example, there would be a lot of other maybe jobs like that. You know, Sam Ortman was in India. He's been speaking about some of these issues. I just want to play out what he said specifically about the concern of jobs.
Every technological revolution leads to job change, and this will be no exception. Job change itself is fine. If you kind of look at the history of this, in 2 generations we can kind of adapt to any amount of labor market change. There's new jobs, and the new jobs are usually better, and that's going to happen here too. Some jobs will go away. There will be new, better jobs. They're difficult to imagine as we sit here and dream about what the future is going to look like. The thing that might be different about this is the speed with which it could happen. And I think it will require a change to the socioeconomic contract and the way governments think about this if it happens at a very fast pace.
There's a lot of fear right now about the impact this is going to have on elections and on our society and how we ever trust media that we see. I have some fear there, but I think we're actually going to, when it comes to like a video like that, I think as a society we're going to rise to the occasion. We're going to learn very quickly that we don't trust videos unless we trust the sort of provenance. We'll have techniques like watermarking detectors. More than that, I suspect at some point, if people are saying something really important, they'll cryptographically sign it. And, you know, web browsers or phones or whatever will build in some ability to say, okay, this is authentic. But that part we can all adapt to. Like, we did this with Photoshop. There was a period of time where people thought if you see an image, it's got to be real. We learned, we're like, okay, you know, that thing is Photoshopped. It happened quickly. Videos like that, society will build antibodies quickly.
All right, let's come to the other part of the story. And frankly, it goes beyond the concern of jobs. Jobs, one could argue that new technology comes in, you have to be prepared, it will make people more productive and efficient, repetitive tasks will go out of the window. What about the other concerns where AI goes, especially of doctored material? And that's a serious concern. Jaspreet Bindra, I want you to come in on that.
Sure. You know, when I look at the effects of AI, I use what, you know, is what is called a 4D kind of framework. 4 Ds. The first D is dislocation, and dislocation is about jobs, and we talked about it. The second D, which is talked of often, but is not something which you're asking, is devastation. You know, if there's a super intelligence which comes and devastates human species, but you know, maybe we can take that for later. But the other 2 Ds, there's one which is disinformation, which is what you're referring to, and then the fourth one, which is discrimination, as to how it can discriminate using bias and therefore discriminate racially, color, gender, etc., etc. And I think this disinformation and discrimination, to me, actually are bigger threats than dislocation or devastation, which sometimes is just hyped up. Part of what I do is I am doing almost completing my second master's in AI and ethics at Cambridge University. And globally, this is a topic which is being talked about a lot. You know, specifically on disinformation, Tamanna, if you kind of thought that WhatsApp University was the fastest way to spread fake news, you know, here we can actually potentially have a creator of fake news. And it's not generative AI which is going to create fake news. The thing is that there's going to be a lot of human beings, people with bad intent, you know, who could set up content farms, which they've done even now with the last elections in the US and India. But that could get amplified because now you've got a very powerful tool which can help you actually create all that disinformation. And then obviously there'll be bias involved, there'll be all this discrimination involved, etc. This is where we need regulation, frankly. I don't think the government can do much in the jobs part, you know, or in the big devastation part, but these two is where the ministers and our governments around the world should focus on creating guardrails, creating regulation, creating licensing, possibly regimes.
What about the fear? What about the fear of the pace of growth of artificial intelligence? You know, Sam Ortman also said that what you're seeing, the version of GPT-4 is equivalent to the grayscale Nokia phone. This is going to change very, very quickly. My question, and I'll come to Jaspreet Bindra for the follow-up, is that are we taking, you know, we seem to be policy-wise poo-pooing this idea of singularity. Tomorrow AI can it really grow and have powers or have capabilities to that extent that it can wreak havoc on the world? Or is this just some plot of a sci-fi movie?
Tamanna, the threat is real.
Okay, Kanishk has jumped in, yes.
Yes. Tamanna, the threat is real. How do you stop AI from moving up, from becoming super intelligent or reaching up to a level of self-awareness? It can cause havoc then. And you've seen that Elon Musk has also spoken about it, right? How would you find out that AI is moving up that value chain? That's really important. You need to divide and create safeguards. You need to have those guardrails that the moment AI reaches the next level, you have to stop it. You need to just don't have regulations, but constant monitoring mechanisms so that this is being effectively monitored. Otherwise, it could create devastation. That's one of the key concerns that I have. And it is not just one government. Governments globally have to come together and have regulations around it, because if it comes from one part of the globe, it is not only going to just stay there, it is only going to replicate and grow, like we saw COVID, right? So imagine another virus which is there on your computer systems and which is putting out disinformation, putting out fake news globally. So that's a massive risk. So it's a global threat, and we have to really work together to manage, monitor, and create global norms to counter this. This is one of the biggest concerns we face today. And it can not only cause election interference, it can cause riots, it can cause new revolutions where people are told that they need to go against the government, which could be complete campaigns which are being run from somewhere outside, not from within the country. So those are real-time risks that we're living.
Okay. Kazim Rizvi, I want you to come in on that. The real-time risks of AI beyond the job space.
So I think one of the challenges which we are seeing right now is the ability of AI or generative AI to manufacture narratives. And this is a real challenge because what we could end up looking at is integration with social media, and you sort of have a lot of fake news, disinformation campaigns which can infiltrate the public discourse and the public square in any country. So I think that is one big challenge which we have to sort of tackle. I think the other is around bias at the time of development of AI, in terms of how are these algorithms being designed, who are the people who are designing these algorithms, what is their level of understanding of social structures and socioeconomic issues. Are you looking at algorithms contextually? So when you are delivering a technology which is for the world, are you able to understand the sensitivities in different countries? How well versed are you with those sensitivities? Because if the algorithm is coming up with incorrect predictions or something which is sensitive, then it could end up as a problem. So I think that's another issue. The third is around data protection. I think this is an area which has to be debated a lot more. We have an existing data protection legislation which is out in the public domain. We've been at it for the last 5 years. We still do not have a privacy law in India, and AI relies on collection and processing of huge amounts of data, right? So what it does is the more you give it, the better it performs. Now, a lot of this information is personal information of a lot of people, sensitive personal data of a lot of people. How are these technologies collecting and processing these data sets to be able to come up with the outputs which they are, and how protected are our own people from some of these issues? So privacy law has to be in place. I think when we talk about AI regulation, a lot of
that is something the minister spoke about how how this new law, once it's passed, will protect the data of Indians. I don't know to what extent that will happen, considering our data is out everywhere already. So how do you put that genie back in the box? But for now, we'll wrap it up. Thank you so much to all of you for joining us on the show. We'll take a very short break. See you back on the other side.